Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the senior taster of Whisky.com, and today I have a bias. Today I'm eager to open that bottle. It's a Chivas Regal, 25 years of age, 40% ABV, priced in the mid-200s. And this is a extraordinary bottle, which I had 5 to 7 years ago, the last time. And I was, well, just overwhelmed with all those aromas and the overall taste of this whiskey. So it's a blended whiskey, and it comes in this extraordinary box. There's a there's a red in it. Have a look at this wonderful bottle. Yeah. That's hefty. Yeah. So here we are. And this is a blended whiskey, and it was from the 1909. This was the year where this Chivas Regal, 25 years old, was the first time bottled for the American East Coast market. The Chivas brothers, called James and John Chivas, they started a grocery business in the 18th century, so very long ago, and they bought their first distillery, the Strathyla distillery, in 1786. So this is one of the oldest distilleries, malt whiskey distilleries, still in production in Scotland from the 18th century. And the first appearance of the name Chivas Regal as a brand on the market for a blended whiskey had been in 1801. So this one is very, very early. And this 25-year-old was established only, over 100 years later. And these special blended whiskies typically have an extreme malt whiskey content and have only a little bit of grain whiskey for smoothing purposes in it. So contents of 70-80% of single malt whiskey or malt whiskies which combine to the final product is typical for these expensive and exquisite bottles. Which distilleries are in that whiskey isn't said to the public, but Strathyla typically shows its home of the Chivas sign at the road, and there are several other distilleries in the Pernod Ricard company from where this bottle comes from, where the Chivas Company Limited, something, don't know exactly how they, which company they had, was some years bought to this French company. The price is quite steep, but for 25 years old, it's not too expensive today. And I looked the price some 7-8 years ago when I first tasted that bottle. It was just below 200, so they just added 25% to this bottle, and this is very moderate rise in price, but unfortunately those bottles are not always available, so it's quite difficult to get your fingers on such a bottle. So enough said. There's a little pamphlet in it where you can read all the story, all the specialties behind it, and when it was risen to the market. Where do I open this? Here. This should be. So I'm always happy to have a very good seal on this because our company, we are shipping whiskey in Germany and Austria, and the tighter this is, the better for the shipment, but sometimes it's quite difficult to open it. And here we go. Oh, look at this wonderful stopper here on top. The cork is close to perfect. No, it's not plastic, it's real cork. Yeah, and the golden rim on this. So this is very, very high end. And I remember it as one of the best I ever had. It's individually numbered here on the back. Yeah. So this is very intense, very fruity, complex. And first is oranges. Light, gliding oranges, fresh, and juiciness, a fruity juiciness in the back, like nectarines, sweet nectarines. And then there is a cooling note, like these rose water, sherry, liquid sherry water. It's called spirit sherry. Don't know how it's translated into English. Those ingredients you find in marzipan. Yeah. Then a little nuttiness in the back. Yeah. I looked my tasting notes up from 7 years ago, and there I didn't have nuts. Now I have the nuts. Yeah. Cheers. First, creamy, gentle, smooth, and then oranges. Now more intense on the tongue. Candied oranges mixing up with the oakiness, residual honey sweetness. Not too intense. If I had to say or to guess the content of grains, well, probably those 30% or 25% grains in it. Most is single malt character. And in the aftertaste, there's some chocolate influence, but not the bitter one. There's nothing at all about bitterness after 25 years. This is more or less those milk chocolate, 40% cacao content. Little marzipan in the back. So this is, in total, very gentle, very friendly, and the aftertaste is very weak, very smooth. So this is a whiskey for upper-class New York City penthouse inhabitants. Yeah, so this is not overwhelming. This is easy, savoring, but complex. No edges. Everything is smooth, gentle, friendly. Yeah. This is a whiskey I like. I do not have a penthouse in New York City, no. I like my house on the countryside. Yeah. So this is a wonderful, complex, massive whiskey. And if you are able to afford it, it's a definite buy. Yeah. Do not waste a drop. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned.